Khorne loves skulls, and you know who has a lot of skulls is the Tomb Kings. Today we've got a face-off between two of the night crew members. Got Fat Kid at Recess, and I forget the other person's name, but they're a new night crew member. And very interesting build. We've got a couple of elite infantry here for Khorne, which I don't see as much anymore, but they're still very good. Hellforge hosts one of the strongest infantry units in the game. We've also got some Chosen of Khorne as well with their ridiculous 50+ everywhere stats. We've got some Marauders of Khorne, Brutes of the Hound, Regiment of Renown as well, some Marauder Horsemen throwing axes, Valkia up in the sky, and lots of Flesh Hounds and Warhounds scattered around. Actually, just mostly Warhounds, actually. As for the, one Flesh Hound it looks like. For the Tomb Kings, Arkhan the Black on foot leading the way. He's got a bunch of melee Ushabti, 3 of them. Chosen the Gods, Regiment of Down, Bow Shabti, and a Casket of Souls with some Tomb Guard Halberds protecting the back line. So right off the bat, we're going to see these Marauder Horsemen of Khorne. Really nice melee stats, no missile block chance. Not that that would matter at all against the Chosen the Gods because they count as artillery shots, but we're going to see some nice disruption here. I don't know, I don't think the Hounds were actually intending to charge the Shabti. They're just trying to force path their way through and force those great bows out of position, which they pretty much have done. The rest of the Warhounds just kind of biding their time here, looking for good avenues of attack, not wanting to, YOLO charge in, even though the Warhounds specifically count as infantry, so they aren't going to be subjected to the anti-large bonus of the Tomb Guards here. They can kind of path through as well, through their small size and low mass, but not going to be particularly brave. Their leadership is quite low, obviously, so they'll want to rout off pretty quickly, but let's just take a look here and see as the lines clash what happens with these 3 elite infantry units, all of which have been protected from the Casket of Souls, so the disruption and the sacrifice of the Hounds is definitely well worth it in order to protect these elite infantries. And Brutes of the Hound now. And the Marauders saw that Spear Sleipnir in the front line as well to wreck King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion. Not that they would hold out particularly well against Chosen of Khorne anyway. But, yeah, Valkia getting in the back line here. But things are definitely not too bad for the Tomb Kings. They're certainly doing plenty of damage back. Being able to get some range damage in. And, being able to fend off a lot of these Hounds. Do some damage to the Skirmish Cavalry as well. Valkia's trying to snipe, get on Arkhan to take him down, but Arkhan's on foot, so he's not going to be subjected to the anti-large bonus, obviously. And the Casket's still able to get some dunk shots at close range, arguably even more dangerous at close range, not to mention Arkhan's summons as well. Going to be pulling up some extra skeletons for the Hellforge host to get through, and I haven't seen these guys in a while. Actually a pretty big fan of the design of Bloodletters in general, but especially these most elite exalted Bloodletters. Very cool. And they are just going to be carving hundreds and hundreds of skulls. Their Hellblades already charged up. Yeah, no question about that. Hungering Blades giving them up to 55 weapon strength with a plus 13 bonus versus infantry. Absolutely insane. But let's see here what the rest of the army is doing. Yeah, Brutes of the Hound are also still collapsing in from this flank. The Chosen are doing okay, so far so good. The 3 elite infantry are all still surviving, but the rest of the infantry is definitely struggling, and these Ushabti are saturated on top of skeletons, and especially Tomb Guard can be quite effective. So let's keep the cinematics rolling. Tactically, there's not a lot to talk about. It's just going to turn into a big kind of circle grind as the Khorne units attempt to cut through. Again, a little bit of overblobbing here. I would probably peel these Marauders and the Chosen, honestly, to come back and attack from this angle here, rather than being all overblobbed on this one Tomb Guard. But still, keeping some Hounds in tactical reserve here. Going to see the sword drop from Khorne as well. Just hurling his blade down to the earth, and it's going to do massive damage to 2 of those Tomb Guard units. Little Spear Leech on Valkia to keep her honest, though, and honestly, she's not doing too great in this engagement. Hellforge host as well, taking pretty significant damage, but of course they are going to keep fighting. getting attacked in the back by Ushabti, which is not an ideal situation for them to be in. These melee Ushabti really have been doing a really nice job. Really, really. But the Hellforge hosts, of course, do have plenty of offensive output to be able to damage the Ushabti back, no problem, even though they're, say, anti-infantry. They're really anti-everything in melee, to be honest. Demon Shield's going to be popped by Valkia. She's continuing to kind of struggle here. Spirit Leech, while the Demon Shield is up, means that a lot of that damage is going to be just straight up wasted. So must not have noticed that it had been cast, but again, Brutes the Hound, these Chosen, this big infantry blob is still quite healthy, and the Casket still having a hard time expending its ammunition. The Casket at short range, just the accuracy just increases, so even just pulling it like over here and trying to dunk shots on these Brutes of the Hound and the Chosen would be quite effective at this point. Could even send Khorne packing, but instead the Casket is having a little bit of a tough time actually firing off any shots. Thankfully, the Ushabti doing a great job holding the line. Tomb Guard also have no problem trading with Marauders, Marauder Horsemen, stuff like that. It's just the, you know, Brutes of the Hound and the Chosen that really give them troubles, but balance of power-wise, I'm not really sure why it's so far against Khorne. Perhaps because Valkia has taken so much damage and Arkhan's taken relatively little damage. Arkhan, technically in melee combat against this one Chosen here, which means he will be recharging, at least temporarily, his Skeleton Summon. Gets a nice rear charge on Valkia. Valkia's leadership is pretty good. She will almost fight it to the end, but at this point she is definitely feeling her mortality, and it looks like she's going to stabilize her leadership, but got super close to routing off there. And still plenty of Ushabti and Tomb Guards over here. Just comes down to these elite infantry, really. There's still some healthy Marauders as well, but the Hellforge host is gone, having finally evaporated, and it comes down to the Brutes of the Hound, which, again, talk about offensive output. 57 weapon damage with a +5 bonus versus infantry, 60 melee attacks, so yeah. Gonna have similarly massive weapon strength, not as much armor piercing, obviously, as the Hellforge host, but more than enough to get through the Tomb Guards. Paltry armor, certainly. Only 55 armor on them means they're going to be taking between, what, 27 to 55%? Or they're mitigating that amount of the non-AP damage, rather. Of course, there is plenty of AP component as well. 14 armor piercing damage. Pretty decent stuff. But they'd be mitigating at ballpark anywhere from, what, 10 to 20 non-AP damage per swing, which is a pretty decent amount. I mean, 50 armor, it definitely helps. But really, like, above 60 to 70 is where things start to get really good. Even like 80, 85. Not looking too good for Khorne here, though, as their leadership is getting alarmingly low. Brutes of the Hound, of course, are unbreakable, so they'll stand and fight until the end of days. The Chosen also have very good leadership, but it's not perfect. And the Casket, at this point, probably has enough speed and mass to try and maneuver away. Maybe not, down to only 23 speed because of the wounds characteristic. So it is going to go down to the Chosen in a grind there. And the thing about Arkhan getting himself surrounded by these Chosen is he is indeed weak to fire damage. And of course, Chosen of Khorne deal fire damage, so that 48 weapon strength of theirs, 14 AP, 34 base weapon damage is going to be quite effective in a surround, despite the fact he has 90 armor, just because of that extra weakness to fire. Casket does get loose, gets one more shot off before it blows up there. But yeah, Arkhan, I mean, they're not going to do damage particularly quickly, especially because they're not really in a full surround right now. A few of these models are kind of cheated out, attacking the Ushabti there, but once they do get a proper circle beating going, yeah, his health will start to chunk down pretty quickly. It's not going to be completely insane. But over here, the Marauder Horsemen, and especially these unbreakable Brutes of the Hound, super, super effective, and we're going to see a Fate of Biuna on the 7 Brutes of the Hound that remain. I don't know if I agree with that. I definitely would have put that Fate of Biuna on these Chosen instead. because it's severe overkill for the Brutes of the Hound. Although they are unbreakable and they were kind of helping to keep leadership together, I understand that to a degree, but definitely Spirit Leech those guys and Fate of Yuna these Chosen. That would have probably ended the game on the spot, but instead, small slip up in terms of the late game magic usage, and oh, the summon. The back pocket summon from Arkhan the Black. Will it be enough to break the Chosen's leadership? It's looking pretty shaky right now. Just kidding. They actually did stabilize momentarily. I mean, they are just skeletons after all. The Chosen are not completely immune to their attacks. You can see they're taking little ticks of damage here and there, but let's see. It's going to be insanely close finish here, guys. These Tomb Guard Halberds holding on. Some more Marauders getting a nice rear charge there. Should be able to finish off those Tomb Guard Halberds, force them into crumbling. But the Tomb Guard Halberd's gone. Suddenly, you know, the summon timer's got about 30 more seconds on these Skeleton Warriors. They do manage to rout those Chosen. And these 12 Tomb Guard that remain, oh man, this unit of Marauders is just teetering on army losses right now. Yeah, the Chosen shatter. I think that's pretty much game. Maybe. I mean, the summon is about to run out. It's got about 8 seconds left. So yeah, maybe the Chosen didn't actually shatter. I didn't see their banner there. Another Spirit Leech on them. Their leadership kind of stabilizes as they count as having just defeated that skeleton, I believe. So yeah, with the skeleton summon gone, yep, looks like Khorne's just going to hit army losses anyway. Yeah, very, very close finish. Chosen weren't quite able to squeak it out there. But still, pretty impressive performance from them. 17-21 on a heavy infantry. Always a good time. Actually outperformed either of these more DPS-focused infantry, which makes me think maybe you just go triple Chosen here? I don't know. It is nice to have a mix, I think, and especially the speed that these two can afford you is quite useful. You can see that numbers they got is higher. Chosen was grinding against more high-value targets, it seems. Yeah, the rest of the build is just kind of here. I don't know. I don't love the pick of Warhounds against Tomb Kings because their leadership is so poor. Just in general against Undead, they don't perform great. The primary use case is best chasing routing units, which of course you're not going to have any of against the Undead, so there's that. So Shabti performed quite well. I have to say I'm pretty impressed with them in this battle, especially in tandem with the Tomb Guards. Was almost enough to pull out the win, just not quite. I do think, though, Fate of Yuna, well, I mean, they did pull out the win. What am I talking about? Guys, it's been a day. I'll tell you what. That's it for me for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. If you did like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.